Corey, it can't just be, yes, you're right. It can't just be sigh. Okay, fine. I guess I'll vote for Kamala. I guess I'll vote for Kamala. No, it has to be, I'm fucking ready to fucking go. I am getting there early in the morning so I can line up at the fucking poll. If I can't make it, then I'm getting a mail-in vote. I'm fucking dropping in this fucking ballot ASAP, okay? I am fucking doing it. I'm taking my time off work to do it. It has to be, listen, okay, it has to be cult-like, okay? Because MAGA has that advantage against us. Trump can just say, you should go vote, and they all go vote. 100% turnout, okay? Some crazy shit, all right? Anyway, I can't be Dems if our Republicans lied. It can't be Dems or Republicans. They're the same, but use different talking. Sure. West Coast Night Owls. Is it even 10 p.m. yet? Winky face. What? Why winky face? Hello, sexy Foodshops. Okay.
Over again to your people, and then it comes time to vote. Like, how do you think they're going to turn out?
They make a video, and every single time they open their mouth about the Democrats, they're telling their audience that the Democrats are just as evil as Republicans. They just hide it better. They're rotating
not saying that.
to do that. Yes,
Wait a
they
minute, wait a minute. Hey,
are.
listen to me.
What are you
Please listen to
talking
me.
about?
Listen to me. I, as somebody
He literally said that in the last week, and I can't get you guys to notice this. You know, did it just go one ear
I didn't hear it.
and out
Maybe
the other?
I didn't hear it.
They literally said that Joe Biden didn't want to do anything.
Actually, no, fuck it. Just vote by mail, okay? It's not hard. Like vote by mail is the easiest shit. Do you have social anxiety? Let's just say you have social anxiety and you fear having to go outside and line up and, oh God, someone's gonna hit me up for small talk. Oh God, I don't want to go through all the trouble, blah, 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 right? Oh God, I don't want to drive that much. Well, no need, okay? No need. Just sign up for mail-in voting. Jesus, we established that during COVID, okay? It's not hard. I'm very proud of you on your platform, Foodshops. Thank you so much. You know how you can show your appreciation? By donating, okay? Can't do it without viewers like you. Thank you. PBS.
For his voters. They literally said that.
Again,
okay?
They said in that conversation, and they've said elsewhere, some genuinely unhinged, stupid shit. I will not dispute that. I will not. When I said that Biden couldn't govern by executive order the way that Trump can because Trump has a sympathetic Supreme Court and Biden doesn't, and Zach, whom I like, responded with, I hear what you're saying, but I don't give a shit. Like, that was dumb. That was just objectively stupid.
That's insane.
But wait.
Why does it need to be more than dumb?
But they
Why does it need to
voted,
be more?
but they voted for Kamala Harris, unless they're lying. They voted for Kamala Harris, and they have said, they've done two other things.
That Trump is worse.
That Trump is worse, and they lay into Trump now. Their focus is like their whole beef with Cenk Uygur is not because he's pro-Democrat, it's because he's too friendly to MAGA. And so, yes, they are more proximate allies to the Democratic coalition than somebody on the right. Certainly,
what are you laughing at?
I'll take the vote, but you're saying like they're allies, but all of these people say the same thing about the Democratic Party.
I said they're more proximate.
Wait, but you can't even, your mind can't even fathom the possibility that someone, just because they say they voted for someone.
Tell me more, guy who compared the Vanguard to Rob fucking Moore.
You're hung up on a stupid joke because you don't want to confront my point because you know I'm fucking right. Like, you can't even fathom the possibility that like just because they said that they voted for someone, that doesn't mean that they can't do damage every fucking day by saying stupid shit like the Democrats are evil and they, you know, like Joe Manchin is like, he's like a deliberate plot.
Right.
So all I'm asking, you don't need.
Dude, Hutch is so based. Oh my God. Oh, I'm coming.
You need to spend 20% of your day.
Why not?
10%.
Why not?
I wish I can donate. My words are the donation. Sounds weird, but just saying. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it's activity, and the YouTube algorithm, I think, recognizes that.
Listen to what I'm saying. You don't need to spend a certain percentage, but stop hand waving it when it happens. Stop doing this like minimizing, like it's not that big of a deal. They're just fucking, they're just like blowing steam off. It is what it is.
Why shouldn't we be exclusively punching left? Why even bother punching right? Why shouldn't we just exclusively punch left?
Well, we have to talk about MAGA, obviously.
Why? Because people are going to vote for Democrats probably for the most part, aren't going to vote for MAGA,
Why
right?
do you think I say that we need to talk about MAGA? Why do you think? We're creators that cover politics. They come to us to find out what is happening that day. Is there a bill getting passed? Or is there something that Trump did with executive authority? What's happening over here in the Texas legislature? Like, people come to us because they want us to like.
So where's our time best spent, Hutch? I think that basically when confronted with these arguments, we do disagree with them. Sometimes like probably more politely than you would want us to, right? Is that basically we're too.
What do you say to liberals who agree with you and Hutch, but think defending Biden is also a super lame cult of losing? The problem is that history is important because people like to stand on history. People like to use history as a launching platform. And because of that, people will rewrite history when it's convenient for them to do so. Because if you know what happened in the past, you can say what happens in the future. Well, if you can change what happens in the past, then you can get people to support whatever you want in the future. So talking about what actually happened in Biden's term, talking about what actually happened in Trump term 1 is important because people use it to evaluate what they want to do going forward into the future, right? If I tell you that you had some result from something that was incredibly positive, you're going to do that thing in the future. But if it was negative, then you're just going to have bad results. So fighting over reality of what happened in the past is incredibly important. Yes. And you know it's important because the other side does it.
Too polite when we disagree with the Vanguard on like the student loan stuff and the mansion point. Is that approximating your concerns?
Yes.
I'm not trying to trigger. No. I'm not trying to trigger.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
That actually kind of explains why Destiny is doing these boring COVID streams. Actually, yeah, that explains a lot, actually. Fuck. Okay, he's just like, he's just living his principles. Destiny. Okay, all right.
No, it's one of the problems. No, it's one of the ways it manifests is that when we disagree with the Vanguard, that we're a little bit too polite about it. I'm genuine. Yes. I am not being facetious. Yes. Right. So you want us to be a little bit more combative with these people, and so when I'm on, breaking point,
so she's okay.
Or when I'm like talking to Kyle to be like, why the fuck did you say this to AOC?
You don't need to say it like that, but it needs to be more.
AOC?
You don't need to say like fuck. You don't need to do that.
Well, I mean, think about it, right? Think about it. Like, fuck. I mean, if his principles is yes, it's important to correct the past because it matters, right? To be politically active, and he's like sacrificing his viewer count right now to do like COVID streams. He would have like thousands more concurrent viewers if he's doing Drama Slop. Okay, just FYI. But like, I mean, he's doing COVID streams, and he is like getting way less concurrent viewers. Fuck, dude, fuck. I can kind of respect that, honestly. Yeah, sacrificing a few thousand concurrent viewers to stay true to your principles and what you believe in. Yeah, fuck. I can
but like certainly more assertive and less.
This sounds like what we said about Joe Biden, by the way, where like Joe Biden should like be publicly signaling and like, okay, he doesn't have to full on condemn Joe.
Joe Biden was the president of the United States. He has an entirely different role. I don't know if Joe Biden should be in charge of ejecting people at all from the party. He's the president. I don't know if that's necessarily his job, although that is what Trump does all the fucking time. But Joe Biden is the president. It's a much different role.
He said about Joe Biden, by the way, where like Joe Biden should like be publicly signaling and like, okay, he doesn't have to full on condemn Joe Manchin, but like, if you understand what you're doing, you're kind of doing the Goldilocks thing that we were kind of arguing.
Joe Manchin, when you're talking about this is a political maneuvering to get legislation passed. This is past the voting stage. We're not talking about supporting people for votes anymore. We're talking about getting legislation passed. That's a totally different thing. If Hutch was in a business with a lot of these lefties and they had to like launch a product, I don't think Hutch would be saying, oh, we need to be criticized. Then at that point, no, fuck it. Now you're full on fucking working together. It's a different thing at that point.
There are ways that Joe Biden can improve his rhetoric and his,
we don't have time to unpack just how stupid your arguments were last week.
Why is that comparison stupid? Actually, wait, what can you say?
Your whole premise of the thing about like, you guys never even demonstrated that Trump's strategy of bullying people is better than Biden. You never even demonstrated that. So you were asking me to say like, well, why shouldn't we?
Hutch is all about big tent coalitions when it comes to moderates, but not with leftists. Strange. Like, yeah, because a left.
I also think he's trying to get away from the IVP debates because he understands that situation if fuck is fucked since Trump is in office. Sure, yeah, I agree, but I guess people just kind of are just kind of past it. He's like revisiting a trendy topic from the past, right? Which is fine. Okay, it's fine. That's because he's going to big debates that involve that, right?
This aren't about big tents. I would invite somebody to my tent that will fucking murder me. What a stupid fucking comment. The tent should be for anybody that wants to vote and support the party actively and excitedly, exuberantly.
We do the thing that Trump is doing without even establishing that it's better. Like Joe Biden's track record was objectively better. Like his strategy was clearly better than Donald Trump. And you're asking me the stupid fucking question about like why doesn't he bully people?
So did you have the impression the question was as between Trump's strategy on net and Biden's strategy on net, who produced the most legislation? Was that your impression of what the question was?
Look, listen. All I'm gonna say is that before the stream, I masturbated, and now I am commentating with post-nut clarity. Donate money, please.
Why doesn't Biden similarly bully his own party? That's what you said. That was the whole argument.
Is part of that analysis a comparison between the legislative accomplishments between the two individuals? Is that what you
took from that?
Yeah, of course. What do you mean? What else are you bullying your party for? Except to get fucking legislation passed. What? What is the point of anything in government if not to have policy?
Is part of that analysis a comparison between the legislative accomplishments between the two individuals? Is that what you
took
from
that? Yes, of course. Why wouldn't that be a part of the analysis?
So the question is, in fact, are there things about pressuring from the party that we can learn from Biden? That is not saying or asserting or at all implying that the better strategy on net for legislative accomplishments is to hook, line, and sinker by Trump over Biden. It is not at all asking for us to do a deep examination on the overall legislative track records. It's asking a much more narrow question, which I don't know how we haven't been able to like get this to the stick. Are there
This is
specific
not my
things that-
problem. You guys are not understanding what's going on here.
So there's a narrow question, which is, did Biden leave things on the table with respect to his optics and communication? And your answer to that is, of course, yes, he did, right?
No. We were very specifically talking about the tactic of bullying. Okay. And if we're gonna explore like why didn't you adopt this thing that Trump does, you have to establish that there's value there. If you just look at the facts, it demonstrates very clearly that Trump's strategy of bullying people it doesn't work.
Also, keep in mind, well, I don't know if I would agree with that necessarily. Trump's strategy of bullying people can work, but it only works as long as he has the power in Congress to do so. Trump can bully. Like, I think Biden could bully. Like, if Biden wasn't bullying Manchin or Sinema and we had 54 Dems in the Senate, I'd say, Biden, what the fuck are you doing, dog? Why are you making concessions to these motherfuckers, right? That's the difference.
And I can't listen to this convo a fourth time. You've listened to this 4 times. I have to stream people's reaction to this. And this is only my 2nd time watching it. How is this your 4th time now?
Donald Trump doesn't have to make concessions, although some things very narrow, like the big beautiful bill, it got there eventually, but
it doesn't work the way that Biden's done.
I'll be honest, okay? The rewatchability is damaged only because Pisco. I have to deal with Pisco, okay? All right, dude. I'm sorry. Pisco is the only thing. I just can't deal with how smug this guy is, and he's like so confidently wrong. Right.
And on top of that, in both terms, Trump had 3 votes to lose in the Senate. He had 3 fucking votes to lose in the Senate. 50-50 is a totally different dynamic.
So it logically necessitates, if I say that there are aspects that Trump should borrow from, that Biden should borrow from Trump in terms of cohesiveness of the party, that there are some elements, or not even really of Trump, but we're arguing for our own thing and his own style to do his own thing, but even assuming that were the framing, that there are some, in some ways, that Biden could be more of a bully or be more active or be more communicative, that you think that necessarily implies that we think that Trump on net, his strategy is preferable to Biden's, and we would need to demonstrate to you, in order to do this, we would need to demonstrate to you actual proof that Trump's overall strategy is more, accomplishment, it's got better record than Biden's overall strategy.
No. The point, what Hutch is saying is that you're not Trump's strategy when it comes to bullying seems to work only for his own base. Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will work for the Democrats. I think you should bully the Republicans by not being a fucking weakling, okay? And by defying people like Wick, all right? And by kicking out members of your own party and bullying them, okay? The fucking lefties, right? But no, not the Trump kind of bullying, right?
I think that one of those things implies the other, that we would need to show you that Trump has been more successful overall than Biden. You think that's what the conversation is about?
No, you have to demonstrate any value. You have to demonstrate any value to like the bullying thing.
Yeah. I think we're going to circle back. We're just going to go over whether there's a significant value to improve your polling numbers and whether we think that Biden left cards on the table by in terms of optics and communications with respect to his polling numbers. And you're going to say he didn't leave any cards on the table and he couldn't have been more communicative and he couldn't have been better in terms of his rhetoric.
Thing altogether than
these are truisms, right? He couldn't have been better? Well, anybody could be better. Like, who's going to say no to that? That's a truism statement, right? Are you
Hey, we call that hindsight.
Saying that this person couldn't have done a better job? Yes, I am saying that. They did a perfect job. Like, what a worthless statement, right?
Could he have been harder on Manchin and Sinema, bro?
So listen, thing. I know that this is like, it is now demonstrated. I know it was threatened earlier, but now it's demonstrated that this is going to be a recurring topic of conversation. We didn't talk about anything in the title, and that's fine. But when this comes up again, I will want to explore what we all believe would be a better use of our time as content creators with respect to focus and why. And I think that's interesting. If we really believe what we believe about the left coalition,
so I would
and where.
Wait, somebody mentioned that they have an argument about
pandering politics.
What is this? I don't want to cover this shit the whole time. Okay, fuck.
Say some of the very basic things that Democrats should be united on would be like a pro-choice stance, pro-gay rights. The filibuster, to me, unironically, like that is probably the single biggest sticking point for me. You cannot be pro-filibuster and not immediately be on my primary target list in my head, because.
What?
Is I think to be pro-filibuster, you're basically saying, I think the filibuster is more important than substantially almost every Democratic policy priority, and that is like an untenably stupid position to have.
But how did Biden pass so much stuff with the filibuster?
But they use it against you.
Incredibly stupid, insane, absurd position to have. I think the filibuster is more important than immigration reform, voting rights reform, protecting abortion rights. Like, really? Really?
Haro, I don't know what to tell you. You're not getting into my pants. You're welcome as a viewer, but you're not getting into my DMs. You're not getting into my pants, okay? All right. Just FYI, I'm just
like that's one of those things that I think is like one of the most insane things that some moderates have in the Senate. Now, at this point, that's a minority position, but like, yeah, like the fact that you have like 5 to 10 Democratic senators that are like, yeah, we'd rather just not pass like anything. It's like, okay, well then it's like this is not a job for you. You shouldn't even be a senator. Go be a consultant somewhere where you talk about not doing anything for a living. Like, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so like just to start, let's just pause there. You had Democratic senators that were willing to do carve-outs to the filibuster, to do stuff like the John Lewis Voting Rights Act or maybe like codify Roe. But in terms of Democrats that would vote to get rid of the filibuster altogether, right away you've just put a bullseye on like half of the Democratic senators. So right away your set of standards would take the intra-party civil war to such an extreme where now we're targeting half of like sitting Democratic senators. And so like I just want to make that observation. And then I want to ask you a question. Like, do you make no consideration for whether the candidate or whether the politician that you're considering a primary challenge against, do you make no consideration for how strong they are in that seat? So like if we're talking about someone that has like 70% approval in that seat and it's like a purple district, do you not assign a certain amount of value to that would not be worth jeopardizing by a primary fight? Is that not any kind of consideration to you?
Well, it's certainly a consideration, but I think that with the filibuster specifically, I don't really think it's, no, I don't think that's particularly relevant. I mean, at a certain point, like, it's like, I just really believe in a lot of the basic things that Democrats advocate for. And also, I think it's fair to say, like, if you're a pro-filibuster Democrat, that's like an oxymoron at this point. Like, oh, I'm in favor.
Like, I'm sorry, this is just the perfect, I actually feel like this is like the perfect encapsulation of everything. And I guess now that Econoboy identifies as a socialist, maybe this is where his mind is, or maybe he's just subversive now, right? When it comes to liberals, we need to tolerate the outer perimeter almost of what socialists think and believe to welcome them into our tent, okay? Now when we turn our eyes back to the Democratic Party, though, there is no room for you in the tent. If you support the filibuster, you have to be primaried, even in a super purple state. Like, where is the equivalence there? This is like, I feel like this is the perfect distillation of the issue of having tolerance with the intolerant, with the far left, is when it comes time to talk about their place at the table, they want the biggest seat possible for as many of them as possible. And then when it comes time to talk about your spot at the table, they will kick as many of you the fuck out as possible.
Ooh. Like, immigration rights, and you're right, we should protect abortion rights, and gay rights are really important, and we should expand Medicaid. Oh, but I'm pro-filibuster, so basically we can't actually do any of that, and it's never gonna happen. It's like, okay, then again, like, what is even the point?
He also said that Destiny blocked him when he was asked if he could have a convo with him. I stopped associating with these people when, listen, I don't even have strong feelings about, I don't think Aaron or any of these people did anything necessarily super wrong. I just thought it was really fucking weird when somehow Aaron is like ingratiated back in the Discord server and is like co-hosting like streams and shit. And it's weird when Pixie's whole public argument was Aaron leaking every single message to President Sunday, and that video that got published was the whole reason why she had to go public and she was suicidal and all that. I don't understand how that person came back with absolutely nothing said publicly whatsoever, and it was all cool. And I'm like, at that point, I'm like, this is...
Bro, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills right now, and honestly, yeah. Dude, like, when it comes to Straighter Raid, there's a reason why I call her the great betrayer, because she has betrayed everyone that she has interacted with. You're telling me that she has somehow wormed her way back into the orbits of all of these incredibly highly clouded content creators, just like that, without consequences, without anything? Yesterday, I turned down a bridge from Stardust because she wanted to reconnect, but I knew that she betrayed me, so I said to her I didn't want to reform a bridge. I told her that, you do your thing, you can watch my content from the side, but I don't want to reform a bridge with you, right? That's what I told Stardust. Like, dude, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I can't be the only one that remembers what these people have done. Right? You're not gonna let lightning strike the same place twice, right? You're right. This is why I'm feeling I'm doing, because when I see Straighter Raid again with like Hutch, which is fine, whatever, it's a debate, and with like people like like on friendly terms with Pisco like twice or 3 times, like that's insane. That's unhinged. And not only that, right? Like the fact that she leaked the whole fucking Pixie news leak thing to President Sunday, a third party person, for no fucking reason other than like what, for clout, for attention, for views, like what? I don't know what, right? For some crazy like time in the spotlight. How could you just invite her in like that? The great betrayer. She is the one who betrays. The nature's manifestation of being a traitor.
Fucking retarded. Like I'm good. I'm just
creating
my distance and I'm fucking doing my own thing, okay?
Yeah.
We were talking about Pisco, not Aaron, or are they connected? No, Pisco like co-streams with Aaron like fairly often. I mean, how often? When I checked before, they did it like 3 or 4 times in a week.
Okay, I'm glad that it's not just a collective hallucination. Because I genuinely thought it was a fucking collective hallucination, okay? I also thought it was weird she's still connected to Wiz and Smugbug. Well, fuck Wiz and Smugbug, right? Like, the thing is that, like, these people, like, they have the J-Reg syndrome, where, you know, they watch so much J-Reg that they're too irony poisoned to make any real opinions, to make any real, like, commentary on anything. They don't care about anything, okay? Like, they're completely irony pilled to the point where nothing they say even matters, okay? So I don't even know why, like, I'm sorry, like, they're just completely worthless people, okay? Yeah. And I don't even care whether or not they're nice people or not, okay? Like the thing is that, like, fuck.
And she's like a hardcore tanky, basically. So, not that the political stuff even matters as much, but I was like, I'm fucking.
I just cannot respect anyone who is, like, way too irony poisoned. If you watch J-Reg too much, I probably, like, fucking hate you, actually. Yeah.
Good on that.
Point. Like, so basically what you're saying is, not you, but like a royal you, what you're saying if you're a pro-filibuster Democrat is that the only thing we can ever substantially do are temporary fiscal packages and around the edges tax reform. Like, that is like the total policy package of Democrats, and that is unacceptable if you ask me. We absolutely should not box ourselves in like that. It is absurd.
What do you mean? Like, J-Reg fans literally have, like, one personality. I like you, Schlobbers, but, like, because you donate. But it's like, J-Reg fans literally have one personality, and it's irony poison.
To do.
Okay, here's my issue.
All right.
We agree, because I know we've had these conversations, and me and everybody else on the podcast, we all think the same thing, which is that Donald Trump represents a literal fascist threat to this country. Not like, no hyperbole, like a fascist threat. Not only he is the threat, but what his movement has become and where that movement is going is a rising fascist threat. And you're trying to make the case to me that in the face of a very real threat of American fascism, you want to take steps right now that would amount to a full-on intra-party civil war, and it would fracture the existing coalition. You're trying to make the case to me that that is a reasonable response to what the threat is from Trump and
you taking a distance but still covering their stuff is the worst of both worlds. You can't push back, and it stirs hatred. I can cover whatever the fuck I want to cover. What do you mean? I'm fine. Excuse me, none of these people wanted to do any content with me for 5 fucking months, okay? I got completely ditched by my entire fucking friend group. If they want to do content with me, I don't think, whatever. I don't know, maybe, who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe? I don't know, maybe in 5 years once I'm reformed, okay? And I'm no longer a rapist, all right?
MAGA. I don't know, I know you are a smart guy, and I have no fucking idea how you could even begin to justify that.
Well, I mean, I've justified it on several grounds. I mean, I think that, number one, again, I think that the Democratic Party platform is worth being at least a little bit stubborn about, right? That, you know, you should really care about filibuster reform as an example, because it basically means we can't actually pass almost any of the, Democratic policy priorities. Like, that's like a very long-term investment in the Democratic Party in terms of, like, getting rid of the people that don't agree with filibuster reform. And then when it comes to the threat of fascism, I mean, look, I've made it extremely clear that when it comes to general elections, I'm like 100% vote blue no matter who. Now, I guess not literally 100%. Like, it is conceivable to me that I would, like, vote for a party or, like, vote for, not vote, I guess, in general. But I mean, that would take, like, a pretty extraordinary circumstance. But yeah, like, I think in primaries, it's worth picking those fights. And it's worth saying, look, if you're going to be a Democrat representing our party, you need to be a Democrat who, to your point, I mean, you've made the point several times before of like, it sucks. Like, Democrats run on all this shit and they just can't ever do it. And it's like, well, one of the fucking main reasons they can never do shit is because of the filibuster.
Yeah, somebody just donated. I don't know. Maybe somebody can explain to me how this works. Somebody donated and said, I don't know.
Okay, wow. The reason why Democrats can't get elected is because of gerrymandering. So therefore, we shouldn't gerrymander. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? If we don't gerrymander and we refuse to gerrymander because it's disadvantaging us, okay, then we're just literally never going to win anything ever. Obviously, we want to match energy, right? In terms of that, we should have done it first, okay? Like, if they're willing to go this far, like, fuck it, all right? Like, shit.
I understand why people want to get rid of the filibuster when all that would mean is that any law you want passed could be repealed with a 51-person vote. Can you still amend that argument?
Dude.
I don't know. I don't know why they think that the filibuster is... Like, if you get rid of it, now Republicans can pass unhinged shit with 51 votes, no? Like, I don't understand how this helps us. It feels like it just makes the government way more swingy.
This, like, completely made-up artificial bullshit rule, You
don't need to sell me on the merits of getting rid of the filibuster. Like, I think there's shortcomings with that sort of thing that could, like, bite us in the ass, but I think in the end, it's worth it to do that. So, like, I agree with you conceptually about, like, ideally, we would have a Democratic Party that would be open to doing something like that. That's not what I have an issue with. Like, so, like...
Dude, remember when the Jews said never again? How ironic. How ironic that it's happening again.
A moment ago, you said that you would make no consideration to candidate strength. So if you...
I said the opposite. I said it's certainly a consideration.
No. I asked you... Wait, hold on. I asked you, do you make a consideration? You said no. What are you talking about?
Oh.
I said, like, I said if you have a candidate that's, like, polling 70%, they're a really strong candidate in that state or district, would that alter your thinking? And you said no.
Wait, in 2008? Wait, how old are you now? What age are you?
No, I didn't say no. I said that was certainly a consideration we're thinking about, right? But I mean, I think that the filibuster in general is a much stronger consideration for me personally when I'm voting in a primary. That like I think there's something to be said about if people are saying yes, I mean go back and like watch the video. Like, I'm pretty sure that I said this.
I think you said not really. I think is what you said, man.
Well, not okay. If I said not really, that's to say that it's a consideration, but it's not really the most important thing, right? Like we can disagree on, I guess, like how important we view like filibuster reform in general. But I mean, like my opinion is certainly that I think that like you should always like have a holistic consideration as to like who you're voting for in the primary. But I think that there's like a risk return and like long-term investment strategy here that I'm thinking about, where I think in the long run it is like significantly better for both the country and the party itself to reconstitute the party into a party that is like 100% in favor of filibuster reform, because you know that's just a way more democratic way to run things, and it makes it to where like substantially the Democratic platform could like you know you could actually credibly pass a lot of things that Democrats propose, whereas for the last like 20 years we've had this problem where it's like over and 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 over again, like Democrats propose like 100 policies every time they run for president, and it's like yeah we can do like 2 of these because.
Yeah, welcome. And Trump did 1 in his first term. It was tax cuts. Yeah, you have to get...
Politics is not a sport where you play by the rules. Politics is a bar fight. Yes, it should be. But the thing is that, like, there's nothing wrong with playing by the rules if both sides are playing by the rules. I support the Democrats playing by the rules because you're not trying to cross the line when the Republicans are also, like, playing by the rules. Well, the problem here is that if you have one side who's not abiding by the rules when you are, why the fuck should you abide by the rules too? It just makes no sense. This is why nothing Wick says makes sense. This is why nothing, like fuck me, dude. It's just so stupid.
He's asking for a dictatorship. That's what he really wants. Like he wants on a razor thin edge to be able to pass, because he's. But this is the progressive mindset. Most Americans support it. They either don't know it or somehow the system is against them and it rigs it or whatever. With maybe a slightly more nuance to be made about the composition of the Senate. Maybe.
I actually have multiple 40-year-olds in my audience. Okay, listen. I know that 30-year-olds, like 30 to 40-year-olds, like feel really old. Okay. And honestly, at 26, I also feel kind of old. All right. But I'm just saying, okay, there's like 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds, like not 50-year-olds. Fuck. I think the maximum was like 55, 54 ever. Who said that to me? But anyway,
but like, get more senators. Elect more people to the Senate.
Those are the ones that aren't covered by the filibuster and the fiscal rules. It's like, dude, just ignore those rules and just do them anyway. These are just stupid Senate procedural rules that you can change, right? Like is the platform literally just like, is it just not that important? You know, I'm not saying you. Again, it's like to the Democratic politicians that actually make that case. It's like, what the fuck logic could you possibly be employing? It just seems like a very bad thing. But
I'm just going to repeat back what you said to me, or summarize it, and you can tell me if you think that this is a fair assessment. As fascism is ascendant in America, in response to that, you think that the Democratic Party apparatus should take actions that would necessarily shrink the tent. I also want to like add to that, the recent elections that we've seen have been like pretty close. So
Econoboy is extremely boring. Even worse, he is a moron. Okay, like the thing is that Econoboy, like what he like at the end of the panel yesterday when I was covering it, do you know what Econoboy, he said like, oh, join me and then look at my blog on how we can make socialism work. Do you think that's the most pressing issue right now? Is how we can make socialism work? Do you think that's the most pressing issue, or do you think it's like a fucking collapsing of our like entire institutions and democracy? Like,
and the congressional.
Okay, we're gonna move on from this. What is this? A rare Obama office response to Trump. Statement from Patrick Rodenbush,
okay, I kind of want to see this
spokesperson for President Obama. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response, but these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the Bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee led by then Chairman Marco Rubio. Nice.
He has a master's in economics. I mean, people graduate from Harvard and they end up being Ben Shapiro, and then people graduate from Yale and they end up being like the most dumbass of the dumbass people. You know, like it's just like, fuck. Yeah, sure. I think there's a correlation that more like academics are like liberal, or they tend to be liberal and like reasonable and rational, you know, but everyone is susceptible to groupthink and social behaviors. I think you're more susceptible to social behaviors and like social behavior vulnerabilities than you are to like logic, you know? Like you just are. right? And the most reasonable person being put in a fucking boarding school cult will become like the most like fucking depressed, anxious, fucking like agitated bully at the top of the food chain in the boarding school cult, right? Like the thing is you know, it's just completely cocked in that way. Anyway.
Somebody said Zizek stole your messaging.
Nerves, Trump, we had 8 years of Reagan, 8 years of Bush, now we had 8 years of Trump.
You know what's the thing about Zizek? Okay, I think he's actually a liberal, but he's a liberal because he arrived at it through snorting lines of crack and cocaine and eating lots of like burgers. Okay, I think through his like constant devouring of burgers, meth, and crack, I think he arrived at how like liberal is like the best. Okay, but he didn't watch some content creator and get their ideas from them. Okay, I'm like it just feels as though like he somehow arrived at this through like a fucking fever dream, right? Like he was going through like crack cocaine withdrawals or some shit, right? Or he's going through like meth withdrawals or or heroin withdrawals, and then during the night when he's like sleeping and like half conscious, and he's like sweating up a storm, you know, in his mind he's like, I knew it. This is why liberalism works. Socialism is stupid. Far-right shit is stupid. This is why, oh my god, my mind... Be like Zizek, okay? Snort lines of cocaine until you pass out.
No, sorry, Trump is a moral change. The whole public, the whole space of public discourse changed into obscenity.
Yes.
Look at him.
Again, here we leftists should be more moralist. For example, to provoke my friends, I often argue for dogmaticism. In the simple sense of, for example, I wouldn't like to live in a society where you have to argue all the time that rape is bad. Right. I would like to live in a society where this is automatically, dogmatically accepted. So when you get a guy who starts to argue, oh, but maybe women enjoy it and so on, ask for it, you don't have to, you just laugh, you're a jerk, you're a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And here we are regressing. 20, 30 years ago, torture was unmentionable.
Right.
Okay, we were all...
I don't know if it was him that I stole this idea from or if it was somebody else that I read.